What's up, Nerds Nation? Welcome to the Effin' Nerds podcast with the most dynamic duo in all of podcasting. I'm Nick Mizzo, and sitting across from me is my guy, Martin Moreno.
What's up?
How we doing?
Good, excited.
So today we are recapping Chapter 9 of The Mandalorian Season 2, The Marshal. But before we get started, if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. And if you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else, please check back each week as we try to upload new content for you guys to listen to.
Yes.
Martin, finally, The Mandalorian is back. We've been waiting all year for this, and we really kicked it off with a bang. We really got off to a great start with this. So, in kind of breaking all this down, let's just jump right into it. Let's start with the cold opening, as we like to call it.
Yes.
And
right before we get that title card.
Right before we get that title card, and this was fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
like to see like this just battle and like the underbelly of what do you know what planet that they're on?
No, I do not.
Okay, so but just like this, it's funny too because they're walking around. There's like graffiti all over the place.
Yeah,
and
it was Baby
like,
Yoda, Mando in the hood.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But it was really awesome to see. And then this, as this fight's going on, you got Mando who's like negotiating with I forget the alien's name, but it's portrayed by Jon Leguizamo, which I didn't even realize until the credits rolled that was him. And then you break out into this fucking awesome fight. And yeah, man, give me your thoughts.
Thoughts for starters, yeah, like you said, I love the sort of music that we got, like that, like fun, exciting music of them fighting. I love just seeing Mando again and Baby Yoda, like right off the bat. They kind of come out of the dark, and we're just like, yes, we're back with them. And yeah, like you said, how Mando's negotiating, and it kind of breaks down into this massive fight scene. To me, in my personal opinion, that is some of the best live action,
like fighting. Right?
Yeah, fighting, or like I was gonna say, like action Star Wars sequence. So
yeah.
it's relatively short, but I said live action because I know like Rebels and Clone Wars, for example, has some really good stuff. But yeah, it also right off the bat gave you a feel of who was in charge.
Yes. Like
the direction was very good, and it was also like a little bit wider. It was like a little bit of a wider shot, so you got more sense of like movement, mobility. You got a little bit more like the way Mando's fighting style, and like how he uses his Beskar to his advantage, like
which like the helmet,
yeah, everything was like super cool.
When he pulls out that knife, I'm just like, oh fuck, It's going down.
Everything is cool. Everything is so well done. And actually, to go back real quick, right off the bat, what made me the most excited was that we queued it up, and we saw 54 minutes.
Yeah.
So, which is something that we spoke about because we wanted the episodes to be a little longer this season. And when we saw 54 minutes, I'm like, oh, sweet, we're going to get like almost an hour of Mando. So that was great to see. But yeah, we get this awesome action sequence. Mando again showing that he's not fucking around. He wants information. You betray him, you're fucked. So that's just what the guy does. That's essentially what happens to him. And kind of like just in time for spooky season, the way he kind of shoots light out, and then we see all these sort of like whatever animals, dogs, aliens, how they're going to essentially like kill that guy, which is like, it was just so well done. Everything about it. To the second one we get that dong, and the Mandalorian pops up. Yeah, you're like, yes, let's fucking go. We're back, baby. We are back. It gets you
so excited. So Gor Koresh is the character that Jon Leguizamo plays, and that moment.
Gor Koresh.
Dude, didn't I ask you what he was called before? Why didn't you tell me?
Bro, I was hyped up. But it's pronounced Gor Koresh.
Gor Koresh. All right. So when he's basically running out of that fighting ring, and Mando just like zips him with the line, and just how smooth it is with him basically hog-tying this guy and throwing him up over the light. It's just so fucking awesome. Just like, he's such a pro. And when he shoots at that light, it's like, nah, bro. Like it harkens back to Batman Begins. Like,
swear to me.
No, not even that. But when he's like, I won't kill you, but
I don't have to save you. Right, because he's like, I promise you won't have my hand. So right away, I'm like, all right, he's gonna die. Obviously, he's not gonna kill him directly.
Yes,
but he's still gonna die. And yeah, it was awesome. And we get the title sequence. We get when he says, "Oh, there's a
Mandalorian on Tatooine."
Right away, I instantly thought Boba Fett. But then you're like, wait, isn't Cobb Vanth in Tatooine? And I'm like, maybe. I was like, yeah, he is too. And then we see the Marshal, and I'm like, well.
There it is.
Yeah.
So getting into it, obviously, this episode we find Mando heading back to Tatooine, where he's in search of the so-called Mandalorian. And instead, who does he find? He finds Cobb Vanth wearing Boba Fett's armor, which was huge. Like that was such a big moment. And of course, Cobb Vanth is played by the great Timothy Olyphant,
who we
absolutely love. But naturally, Mando is not too happy to find a normie kind of wearing Mandalorian armor.
Yeah.
So he's like, take it off, give it back to me. And as this scuffle is about to break out between these two, they're interrupted by a krayt dragon, in which Cobb Vanth asks Mando, "Hey, if you help me kill this thing, I'll give you back your armor." And boom, we're into this episode.
Right, and I believe I mentioned how, I don't think I did, but Jon Favreau wrote and directed this episode.
Yes.
And right away, you can just tell, like we said, it was in the hands of someone who knows their shit.
Yes, definitely veteran presence.
Exactly. People who had issues with episode 5 in regards to like the comedy and the humor for last season. We got the same characters with, I believe her name is Amy Sedaris.
Yes, who plays Peli Moto, I think is her character's name.
Right, but like the little humor and the little lines that she had and the droid humor, I thought worked so much better in this episode than it ended up in episode 5.
I was also just happy to see her back.
Yeah.
And especially like when she sees like Baby Yoda.
That's us.
Like that's us.
I guess a lot has changed since you were last in Mos... Oh, thank the Force! This little thing has had me worried sick. Come here, you little womp rat.
So that was just a great moment, and I was happy to see her come back. And
a little thing too, the music in itself, when you have like great television shows, the music in itself becomes a character. Like when Game of Thrones was good, like you tune into season 6 and the second you hear the music, you get hyped.
Yeah,
You're like, yes. When the title card finishes and we get the main Mandalorian score as he's flying over Tatooine, like I was ready, bro. I was like, yes. And then we said, we get that great scene with the returning characters, and it was just handled differently, and it was a lot of fun. And then just the whole notion of doubling down on the whole Western feel.
Yeah.
Like when he first arrives into Mos Pelgo and he's like slowly going with his speeder bike.
Yep.
It was like a cowboy like on his horse.
Yes.
Like going through the town and seeing all the townspeople, like very, very like slow and like just the way it was done.
And then the first place you go to is the saloon.
Exactly.
And you talk to the bartender because the bartender has all the information.
Exactly. Like let me like prop down with my hat up and like let me get a beer and shit. And yeah, just those little things of like how someone looks like me and he's like, oh, you mean the Marshal? Because clearly this is like this town like an East Bumblefuck Tatooine. They don't really know the difference of like what a Mandalorian looks like or anything like that. And just again, veteran presence. That camera pan around of how it was like almost at like at a waist angle, and the way it kind of pans around to reveal.
Yes.
Cobb Vanth, I just thought was so well done. It was such a great reveal, and yeah, like you said, the krayt dragon attacks, and again, the kind of like low camera angle looking up, was just so like everything about it was just so well done.
The entire episode is very well shot from moments like that, and then when we get into the whole aspect of them trying to kill the krayt dragon, there's just a lot of really fantastic wide shots of the dragon and just seeing just like the action in full frame, not like a whole lot of close-ups, but just because the krayt dragon itself is just massive, so you just get these really beautiful wide shots. And yeah, man, like a lot of it was just very well done. And Jon Favreau, obviously, knowing Jon Favreau in general, Jon Favreau knows his shit.
He knows his shit.
And we get a lot of nice callbacks to different types of movies throughout this episode, including Favreau's on Iron Man, as well as stuff like Indiana Jones, Jaws, like
big time.
different, all these
King Kong,
just all these flavors rolled into one to get like a really awesome kickoff to Mandalorian season 2.
And also, like we said, paying homages to stuff that came before it, like Boba Fett's armor.
Yep.
We're still not, or at least I'm not 100% sure if Cobb's speeder was part of Anakin's pod racer.
I would think it would be.
Yeah, or like you said, maybe since after Anakin won that pod race, like everyone started doing their...
There's like a manufacturing...
Yeah, they started doing just like that.
Of those types of pod racers, yeah.
Right. And also, since I know spooky season just ended, but to kind of keep it in line with that, we had a Scream reunion.
Yeah.
Timothy Olyphant, which is Mickey, the creepy Tarantino film student.
See it? You got a Linda Hamilton thing going. No, it's nice. I like it. Now who's doing that? He was
the spoiler alert, the killer in Scream 2, and the bartender who played the bartender was also in Deadwood. I'm forgetting his name.
It's
something Glenn Howard.
I'll look it up.
A few moments later.
W. Earl Brown.
W. Earl Brown. He was the bartender in this. He was also in Deadwood. So him and Timothy Olyphant.
He played the bartender in Deadwood as well.
Deadwood, right? And he was also Kenny, the cameraman in the first Scream. So.
Look, Kenny.
Yeah.
I know that you're about 50 pounds overweight, but when I say hurry, please interpret that as move your fat tub of lard ass now.
nice little screen reunion for spooky season. And yeah, I thought like we'll get into more of the episode, but I just thought the first like I guess half of the episode was great.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so obviously Mando and Vanth team up and they go in search of this krayt dragon, and they encounter the Sand People,
Tuscan Raiders.
the Tuscan Raiders. So they have to form a very uneasy alliance between these guys because they're kind of at each other's throats. And in keeping with the whole Western aspect, the Tuscan Raiders, they're kind of like Native Americans almost.
Oh yeah.
You know, so you get the cowboys and Indians kind of feel to it. And it's a really cool, I guess it's a nice message as well, considering the times that we're in. It's where, you know, two people on two different sides that do not agree on shit have to come together, and look what happens when they come together.
Exactly.
You can defeat krayt dragons.
Basically. You can defeat krayt dragons. You can find a common ground.
Exactly.
You can accomplish things.
Yes, you can accomplish things. But I really dug that aspect. And for, you know, this episode I think was a big win for the Tuscan Raiders because they're kind of always been looked at as kind of like the villains, you know, especially like in A New Hope because they attack Luke. But it was really cool to kind of see...
Episode 2, they kill Anakin's mom.
Episode 2, they kill Anakin's mom. So it was cool to kind of see them get a bit of an episode shine in this. And, you know, just a little bit more of their dynamic. And
it was more of their world.
Yes.
Like we saw the space dogs, so to speak. We saw them in episode 2. We get to see them again here. Something that we brought up was like, hey, do you know what that reminds you of? Like the dogs from Predator.
Yes.
And who produced Predators? Robert Rodriguez.
Who was the director in the season.
The director in it. So like, for all we know, we're like, hey, can we like those dogs from episode 2? Can we bring them back? And because they kind of look like my Predator dogs, maybe we can like rethink the design or something. But also we were talking about King Kong, skull crawlers. It kind of looked a little bit like that. And just that final scene when they're all like throwing the stuff at the krayt dragon, when they're like trying to like wrestle it down, was like, in my opinion, I thought of King Kong right away.
Trying to capture
Kong, and get him on the ship. But yeah, the nice light, this kind of light that we shined on the Tuscan Raiders, like you said, was fun. It does kind of put them as like the main characters, which they've, like you said, always been kind of like secondary characters. Yeah. And I just really loved so much about that. There's the scene where the one raider is brushing the teeth, the bantha's teeth. Yep. Yeah, and it's like little things like that. Like you were saying, the cinematography, we get the one shot of the raider just kind of standing there with like the pink sky in the background. Like little things like that just felt like Star Wars, and everything just felt so right. So like, yeah, you had a veteran who knows her shit, but you also have someone who not only knows her shit but understands the mythology. And brings in these little things that just kind of makes it that much more exciting.
So the other thing I want to bring up while we're talking about the Tuscan Raiders is we get, you know, obviously Louis Goranson has come back to score this season again, and we get some new music from him, and it's awesome. It's so good. There's obviously the one particular scene we're talking about is where the Tuscan Raiders are kind of riding up on the town. Yeah. And it's literally just a shot of people's reactions looking at these guys riding up. It's
so well done.
It's so well done though, because the score just amplifies the scene. And it's so fucking good.
And it creates the tension, and you know that these people do not have a mutual understanding on shit in general. Right. But like, I love the one shot when the one girl like taps the dude. It's like, hey, they're coming, and they turn around. But yeah, seeing like going back and forth between people's reactions, and like you said, the music blaring. Like I mentioned, we also had that new music in the beginning. So yeah, the new music and for this episode was amazing. And like you were talking about the Cowboys versus Indians.
Well, if you want to do a Jon Favreau reference, Cowboys and Aliens.
Cowboys and Aliens, yes. But the moment where they're all around the campfire, that was literally like the Indians giving them peyote.
Yes.
Like, let's do the drugs. Let's get high together. Let's be one with nature and Mother Earth and all that stuff. So yeah, so many callbacks to different things. And the music, just incredible.
I would agree. So then obviously we move on to the big battle with the krayt dragon. And I think everything about it I thought was great. Like I loved everything about it, them trying to lure it out. I love when the krayt dragon spits out its acid. It's very harkens back to Starship Troopers a little bit.
Like the beetle.
Yep. And then we even get, a couple Mandos flying around their jetpacks, which was really cool to see.
Awesome.
Like there's just so many different moments that just like you said, it just reeks of Star Wars. And
I love that awesome moment too, like when they're up on that mountain, they're shooting the krayt dragon, and it's like spitting the thing off screen. Yeah. But you just still get the sense of like the scale of its head in regards to the Mandalorian. It also reminded me a little bit of the Basilisk and all the Harry Potter fans out there.
Definitely.
It kind of
and then
like
a little bit of the Beetlejuice sandworm as well.
As well, yes. But something that I thought was interesting was the way it defeats it by eating a band and then blowing it up from the inside. I was like, why didn't they just do it to begin with? But I think they get ahead of it earlier on in the episode when
they're kind of like scouting out the krayt dragon's like his hideout, I guess.
Yeah, it's well, he says it's in an abandoned Sarlacc pit, and he's like, I've never seen an abandoned Sarlacc pit. He's like, well, if you eat the Sarlacc, it's abandoned, but maybe it wasn't eaten. Maybe someone killed it from the inside. Who is that someone? We will get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene when it's like Tuscan Raider and the Bantha, they're trying to lure it out. It ignores the Bantha and it goes towards the Tuscan Raider.
Yes.
And it kills it. So
there's no guarantee.
Exactly. There's no guarantee. So that may be you may be like, why didn't you just do that in the first place? Like, hey, we got ahead of it. So I'm like, all right, Favreau,
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
I'll give you on that
I'll
one.
give you that one. But yeah, the way it pans out. I did not for a second think that Mando was going to sort of sacrifice himself.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that for sure that he had a plan. He knew what he was doing, and he even says it too when he gives him the armor. He's like, "Sorry, I didn't have time to explain myself."
Yes,
but he knew. I wholeheartedly believe that he knew what he was doing, and yeah, the way that he defeats it, I think is going to, like we were talking about, his sort of legacy and the sort of legend that he's creating in again the first season. He's now known as like, oh, you were I've heard stories about you. You're the one who helped the people, defeat the ATST. Like when you're talking about the episode 4, you're the one who helped the Tuscan Raiders defeat the Crate Dragon. So
right.
I think he's also in a way starting to build his legacy and starting to establish his legend of like
the Mando legend.
Hey, I know you're the Mandalorian with the Mudhorn signet who did this.
Right.
So yeah, I think there was just so much about this episode that I just loved.
Yeah, and there's also that one little moment that I love too about when Mando just fucking knocks Boba's like jetpack and it just fucking takes off.
Yeah.
And I just love that. That's like a nice little callback to Return of the Jedi and fucking Boba Fett's defective fucking jetpack. but that was really cool. And then just in general, love Timothy Olyphant. Obviously, whenever there's a call for a sheriff role, he seems like he's the first guy that gets called up. But he just comes in, all this fucking swag, that's just walking around in this armor.
I'm wholeheartedly expecting to see him in a hat next time.
I know, right? Yeah, definitely. And I think, just by that little line that they have at the very end, where he's like, I hope our paths cross again. He's going to come back.
Definitely.
Maybe not till next season. Maybe at the end of this season he'll come back.
I definitely assume it's going to be like, hey, remember, you owe me a favor because I helped you defeat, so now you have to help me.
Yeah.
And I will say though that in terms of some things that didn't completely work for me, I thought his sort of backstory and I thought just kind of felt a little bit out of place, and I thought it was very quick. But you do have to kind of establish who he is. I think in hindsight, we may look back at it because once we get to the end of the season, if we look back and we're like, maybe they could have done it this way, kind of like when IG-11, when we get him in the first episode and then we get his backstory towards the end of how Quill reprogrammed him and everything.
Right.
If maybe we get something towards the end of the season where we're like, oh, you know what, it probably could have done a little bit better and not so fast because they obviously had to like get it out there quickly. Then maybe I'll think differently about it. But in terms of like some things that didn't work for me, I would probably say just like the whole backstory of him.
Yeah, I would agree. I think from the rest of the episode, it feels a little out of place, and also just how it's structured, like from a cinematic aspect, it feels a little clunky at times.
It's because it's fast.
Because
like
it's very fast. Yeah. But other than that, like I think it was a nice like reintroduction back into like the Mandalorian world.
Yeah.
And obviously, you just get these these cute Baby Yoda moments, like the one specifically where they're on the speeder bike and his ears are flapping in the wind.
He's smiling.
You just got to get all those moments in for all the Baby Yoda lovers. So
there's a lot of them, but that's their bread and butter.
I know, that's the bread and butter, man. You got to milk that.
And that in that when he's like when he was in front of the kid, he's seen worse. Amanda would have. Like when Kyle comes back with the Mando armor, his draw was not that great. It was not the greatest draw.
No, it wasn't the greatest draw.
Mando would have
Mando would have smoked him
before he even like put his hand on the blaster.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, that was there's again so much fun about this, so much good stuff about this.
Absolutely. And then obviously we get this massive cliffhanger. It's not said that it's Boba Fett, but it's Boba Fett.
It's Boba Fett.
It's definitely Boba Fett, and it's really cool to see. Was it Tamora Morrison?
Tamora Morrison,
yeah,
correct.
To see him come back and play this character, obviously really awesome for him. And then just for Boba Fett fans in general, that they kind of get some sort of continuing story on this character.
Which is crazy,
It's
man.
crazy because it's something that you never thought that you would see.
Right, and it's been clamored so much, and now like again the sandbox, we're gonna play with it in Mandalorian, and it's like they said the Sarlacc is dead. It's like, maybe did the Krayt Dragon eat it, or did Boba blast his way out of it? Like, who knows? Who knows exactly how the Sarlacc pit is empty. But there's also reports that he's going to play multiple characters. So everyone's also expecting Rex.
Yes.
But yeah, that was definitely Boba.
Yeah, 100%.
And now he's like, this guy's got my fucking armor.
Yep.
Gotta go get it back.
Oh, yeah.
And I am so excited. I'm happy that we got that we got this character this early on.
Yeah.
I was expecting we were gonna get like Bo-Katan and like Ahsoka. Like I figured we would get a lot of these characters much later on.
Much later.
But the fact that we got
we're just jumping right in.
Boba and Cobb right in the first episode, I'm like, all right, then let's fucking do this.
Here we go.
Let's go. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so really exciting moving forward, and yeah, man, like just I don't even know what to expect at this point. I do see it. It's weird because in a way I like that they don't show a preview for next week because it's like, oh, what's gonna happen? But at the same point, it's like I want fucking more after the episode ends.
I would appreciate a preview.
I would.
Just like it's a little teaser.
Just a little
like,
tease.
Next week on the Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly.
And just give us a little bit just to keep that excitement. I do like the fact that it's weekly because again, it keeps the conversation going, keeps people talking, keeps that excitement. I would prefer that over the binge, but yeah, just a little tease, a little like 30-second, 1 minute, like just give me something. I want a little flavor looking into next week. Yeah, that would be fun.
Definitely. But all right, Nerds Nation, that does it for us. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for listening. We're going to try to do a recap every week. Going to try to drop it on Wednesdays before the next episode.
Right.
Going forward. So
by that point, we figured it's a couple days. Everyone's seen it.
Yes.
And this is like this is the prototype review.
This is definitely the prototype review.
We'll get a more structured outline moving forward. But
absolutely.
Last minute, we're just like, bro, should we do a Mando recap? Let's fucking do it.
Yeah,
why
man.
not?
Let's just jump right in and talk about it. But yeah, so guys, remember to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube page. And remember, you can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else you can see that big, beautiful FN logo.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah. All right, guys, we will catch you on the next one.
Bye.